So, hi guys. So today we will be talking about the classical and instrumental methods. So it is very easy, no? Classical and instrumental. Para kang nagko-compare ng bago tsaka luma. Ganun lang 'yun. So today I'm going to talk about two big ways we study metals, the old, it's the classical methods, and the newer, which is the instrumental methods. Classical is like the traditional way with the test tubes and chemicals, while the instrumental is the modern way using machineries. So, ganun lang po yun kasimple. The classical method is simply just being traditional while the instrumental is simply being modern. So, classical methods overview involves chemical reactions and wet laboratory techniques, requires titration, gravimetry, and precipitation. Basis of traditional assaying in metallurgy. So, yun po no, yung classical methods, ito po yung traditional way talaga kung saan nagni-need siya ng wet laboratory techniques, titration kung saan mimix mo yung ibang chemicals sa metals, gravimetry kung saan sinusukat mo ang kaniyang weight, and precipitation kung saan pinapadry mo yung wet na soluble mo galing sa iyong reaction. So, classical methods are the old school science tricks. Para siyang science tricks, guys. Imagine mixing a baking soda with vinegar to see bubbles. That's a reaction. In classical methods, scientists mix chemicals with metals to figure out how much of a certain element is inside. It takes time but it works very well. So purpose lang talaga ng classical methods ay para alamin kung gaano karami yung metal content sa isang material o sample na gamit mo. So here is an example. Let's talk about copper assay. So it is usually formed by iodometric titration. Copper is dissolved then reacted with potassium iodide. Iodine released and titrated with sodium sulfate determines copper content in sample. So copper is analyzed by iodometric titration. Copper ions react with potassium iodide to release iodine, which is titrated with sodium thiosulfate. The amount of thiosulfate used shows the copper content. So medyo complicated yung explanation dito, no? So here's an pinaka-easy talaga para maintindihan nyo. So to find out the copper, how much copper is in something. So, yun yung purpose no, ng copper assay para malaman natin kung gaano karaming copper ang naroon sa iyong sample. We add special chemicals. The copper makes another chemical release or it releases a color. And then we measure it by adding drops until the color changes. The number of drops tells us how much copper is there. It's like counting how many spoonfuls of sugar go into making a juice to taste just right. So, ganun lang po. When you have copper, mag-add ka lang ng chemical at magre-release siya ng ibang kulay. And after that, kukuha ka na naman ng ibang chemical at ititest mo kung ilang droplets bago mag-iba naman ng kulay. So yung droplets ay bibilangin mo para ma-determine mo kung gaanong karaming copper ang nandoon sa iyong sample. So easy lang. Next is lead assay. So lead assay, for lead, we can make it from a solid, kind of like when salt crystals appear if you leave salty water to dry. We then weigh it or measure it in liquid form. This tells us how much lead the sample has. So, sa lead naman, ibang process naman yung ginagawa. So, bago po, ang lead ay solid. Tapos, ginagawang liquid at after mo naging liquid ay magse-separate yung lead molecules galing sa sample. At saka dun po i-measure kung gaano karaming lead ang nandoon sa iyong sample. So, lead is determined by gravimetric or volumetric method. So, pwede po din siyang i-measure from its liquid form. It can be It can be precipitated as lead sulfate or chromate and then weighed or titrated to calculate its concentration. So easy lang din po. Ibang process po yung sa lead, iba sa copper, and next naman po is sa zinc. Ah, by the way po, ito yung mga examples ng classical methods sa pag-assaying. So zinc assay. So sa zinc naman po, zinc is a commonly tested by EDTA titration. EDTA comes from a stable complex with zinc ions and an indicator signals the endpoint. This method is reliable and widely used. So ano nga ba yung EDTA? So medyo complicated din po yung example dito, pero in simple or layman's term, for zinc, scientists use something called EDTA. So ano nga ba yung EDTA? Think of it like a metal magnet that grabs zinc tightly. We keep adding it until the zinc is caught. When the color changes, we know we're done and we can figure out how much zinc was inside. So para malaman po natin kung gaanong zinc yung naroon or ilan yung zinc content na nandoon sa sample mo, gagamit tayo ng tinatawag na EDTA. Para po ma-visualize niyo kung ano yung EDTA, para lang po siyang magnet. Magnet kung saan nakaka-capture niya yung mga zinc at mag-a-add ng mag-a-add ka po until mag-change ng kulay. So when the reaction happens or the change of color happens, yan na po yung indicator o kung saan mo malalaman kung ilan yung zinc content na naroon sa sample mo. So next is iron assay. So iron assay is analyzed using redox titration with potassium permanganate or discuss. The color change. So ito po, no? The color change marks the endpoint showing the iron content. So same lang din po doon sa zinc assay. Kaso ito po ay hindi po nagagamit ng EDTA. Ito po ay gumagamit ng redox reaction kung saan ang redox reaction po ay isang gumagamit ng electric na copper tubes at pinapagana nito o sineseparate nito ang iron molecules sa iyong sample. With the iron molecules separated, you can simply determine the iron content. So to test iron, we use reaction that changes colors. Iron changes from one form to another, and when it does, the liquid changes color, kind of like magic ink that shifts color. The endpoint, when it changes, tells us how much iron there is. So gaya nga po ng sinabi ko, kung saan po siya mag-end ng color, doon po nagtatapos yung measure mo or pag nag-change ng color, doon mo ma-determine kung gaano yung iron content. So, next. So, dito naman po, we're done from the classical methods. Let's proceed to the instrumental methods. So, instrumentation methods overview employ modern instruments instead of manual reactions. Faster, more sensitive, less labor intensive. For example, spectrometry, X-ray methods, and microanalysis. Yung tatlo lang po yung usually ginagamit po or dyan po nagre-revolve yung instrumental methods. So, let's move forward. By the way, now let's move to instrumental methods. Instead of mixing chemicals by hand, we use machines that can see or read things we can't see with our eyes. They transfer more accurate and don't need as much liquid or sample. So with instrument methods po, mas pinapadali po nito yung process at uh, ito po yung ginagamit natin kung halimbawa, pwede natin ito gamitin kapag konti lang yung sample natin at pwede po itong gamitin para uh, dun sa mga sample na mas mahirap talaga na hindi natin kaya mabasa sa ating naked eye. And lastly, with instrumental methods, uh, it is less labor intensive. So mas pinapadali po talaga yung ating gawain. So spectrophotometry. So ano nga ba yung spectrophotometry? So spectrophotometry measures how much light a solution absorbs. So same, hindi po kung talagang totaling walang wet na solution pag nag-instrumental methods ka. Siyempre po, meron. Pero, hindi po yung nagmi-mix ka at nagmi-mix kagaya ng classical methods. Ito po, ginagamit po yung solution, example, para makita kung how much light a solution absorbs. Based on the Beer-Lambert law, absorbance is proportional to the concentration. It is widely applied for metal ions analysis. So it measures absorption of light by a solution, follows Beer-Lambert law, widely applied in analyzing metal ions, provides precise and quick results. So hindi po kagaya nung kanina sa classical methods na halimbawa, kada copper, zinc, iron, iba-iba po sila ng process. Dito po, depende po kung anong pwede mong, kung saan po nag-fit yung sample mo, kung saan mo siyang pwedeng gamitin sa tatlo, spectrophotometry, X-ray, or microanalysis. So dito po sa spectrophotometry, nagme-measure po lang siya ng light kung gaano yung na-absorb ng solution mo. So this is like shining a flashlight through a glass of juice. If the juice is dark, less light gets through. If it's light colored, more light passes. A spectrometer measures how much light passes through a solution and tells us how much metal is inside. So automatic lang po. Ito po ay isang machine kung saan lalagay mo lang yung sample, sisinaga ng ilaw, at saka diretso na po magdi-display, hindi na po kagaya doon sa classical methods kung saan mano-manuhin mo pa po pag-weigh, ah, pagkuha ng volume, kung ilan yung liquid, ganun. Dito, diretso na po may digital meter display at pinapakita doon kung ano yung metal content nandoon sa solution mo. So next is X-ray diffraction or XRD or fluorescence diffraction or XRF. So XRD identifies crystal structures by analyzing X-ray diffraction patterns. XRF, on the other hand, detects and quantifies elements by measuring fluorescent X-rays. Both are fast, accurate, and non-destructive. So ito po ay gagamit ka lang po ng yung sample kung saan pwede po, kailan po is metal or solid, hindi po liquid. Dito po sa X-ray, simply gagawin niya lang is it depends po kung anong mas gagana dito sa dalawa, XRD or XRF. Depende po sa sample mo. So XRD is like looking at how light shines through a crystal and makes pretty patterns. Those patterns tell us the shape of a material inside. So sa sa XRD, dito po ginagawa po dito is yung metal po nagsishine sinashinean siya ng fluorescent light at saka po gumagawa po yung minerals sa sample mo ng patterns. Every mineral has a distinct pattern po. Kaya po nalalaman kung magkano o ilan yung metal content o mineral content na nandoon sa sample mo. XRF, on the other hand, is like tapping a rock with X-rays, and the rock shouts back its ingredients. The machine listens and tells us which elements are there. So dito po sa XRF, ginagawa nilang po is parang kinakausap nilang yung mineral mo. Halimbawa, yung XRF mas pinapadali niya by simply placing your sample and then it tells us how much or how many or what are the elements are in there. So next is lastly microanalysis uses electron microscopes to study materials at the micro or to nano scale. It provides detailed images and elemental composition, essential for metallurgy and mineralogy. So, uses electron or and microscopes po. So, dito po, kailangan, yung ginagamitan dito is yung very small, is some like, it's some like you're using classical technique yet with instrument. So nabibilong po din siya sa instrument kaso nakasabi ko pong classical kasi mano-mano mong binibilang yung nandoon sa sample mo kung anong nakikita mo using microscopes. So microanalysis, this uses very powerful microscopes way stronger than ones in school science labs. These microscopes can see super tiny details even smaller than dust. They can also tell us what elements are in a tiny speck of material. So like I said po from the very beginning with uh, instrumental methods, you can use po very small samples only. Kagaya po dito sa microanalysis. Kaya niyang gumamit ng napakaliit lang na sample mo at makikita na agad kung anong mga material or elements or ilang content ang naroon. So, with the conclusion, classical methods, accurate and functional, instrumental methods, modern, fast, precise. Both are important for reliable metallurgical analysis. So yung dalawa po comes in hand depende sa situation, sa resources na meron ka. Either way po ay mas madaling gamitin and ginagawa talaga nila yung trabaho nila at kung saan sinasabi sa atin kung ah, ano yung metal content, ano yung elements na naroon sa sample mo. Pero kung para po sa akin, mas pipiliin ko yung instrumental methods. Bakit? Mas less po yung error natin, mas less yung human error na naroon sa instrumental methods. Bakit po? Kasi yung classical methods ay mano-mano mong ilalagay yung material, imimix mo. So, kailangan talaga precise yung mga measurements or mga volumes na ginagamit mo. Unlike sa instrumental methods, nakukuha ka lang ng sample mo, lalagay mo sa x-ray or doon sa microscope, then you can see how much or what minerals or elements are in there. So to wrap up, classical methods are like old recipes. They take time but still useful. Instrumental methods are like using high-tech gadgets, fast, precise, and easy. Both are important to understand metals and materials. So, uh, ito po, yung classical methods is very useful po. Halimbawa, nasa bukid ka or nasa mountains ka and wala kang ibang dala, meron kang somehow like mga chemicals na dala kasi mas madaling dalhin yung chemicals instead of the instruments. So, mas useful talaga sa classical methods. Kaso nga lang, gumagamit siya ng masyadong maraming time at masyadong dapat medyo may OCD kasi kailangan perfect talaga yung mga measurements na ginagamit mo. Pero, pwede naman, instrumental methods, halimbawa yung sample mo naroon sa mountains, dadalhin mo sa laboratory, at doon mo iti-test gamit yung instruments. So, sana po marami kayong natutunan at ipapaalala ko lang po, napakadali lang po nito. Classical ay yung old methods or old recipes, while instrumental are the newer ones. Example po, yung classical, halimbawa, bike. Instrumental, yun na yung motor. So, that's all. Thank you.